Hey guys, we are live for the second SOMIFA semifinal of the night. The Atlanta Falcons against the Dallas Cowboys. And Atlanta will get the ball first. The kickoff has happened and there's a touchback, and we're ready to roll. Wanted to bring this up real quick. Chicago defeated Denver earlier today. Spoiler alert. I should have said spoiler alert first. And so Chicago was in the SOMIFA championship game, and one of these two teams will join them, Dallas and Atlanta. Oh, right off the bat, I guessed wrong. Long pass by Gardner Minshew while I was looking at the standings hits Evan Ingram for 39 yards. Oh my, that that brings them down deep into Dallas territory. All right, I'm gonna go on silent for a minute.
Hey, Dennis.
Hey, Dennis.
I think Dennis may be away from the screen. Atlanta drove and got a short field goal attempt, but unfortunately missed a chippy, and Dallas just had a incompletion on first down, so it's 2nd and 10.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a couple of guys that there's a 13-yard pickup on a flat pass, Mo Alley Cox. You got a couple of guys here that are heavily invested at the running back position, not the quarterback position. Very successful coaches.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying. So 1st and 10, showing blitz. -1 for Derrick Henry. Guessed right. Nathan, like many coaches who do show blitz a lot, not afraid to call a run out of that. 3-4 blitz again.
So Nathan's Falcons finished 12-4 this year, and that's Zeb, right? And his club finished 9-7.
Yes.
So quite an achievement for a 9-7 club to be playing here in the Final Four.
Yeah, not a surprise. He actually passed me last week, or with his last win. He's now 3rd all time in SOMIFA playoff victories with 14, trailing only the guys that we do on Mount Rushmore, NFL Ed and Paul. So Zeb has had a lot of postseason success. He's also had a lot of regular season success. I think he's 3rd probably in winning percentage all time or close. So he's not a surprise to be in this game.
Just get to the playoffs, right? That's what it's about.
Yeah. In many ways, the surprise was that he only went 9-7, but this is not his best team. Andy Dalton, of course, is his current quarterback. He's won with quarterbacks before that were not great. He's also won with some good quarterbacks. There's a 6-yard pickup, no fumble. It's going to be 4th and 5. Originally, or at least in the early days, he had Donovan McNabb at quarterback and did very well with him. Had backfields of like Pierre Thomas and I want to say Ingram maybe, and it seems like Fred Jackson, I think, was the other guy. And then he went to a 1-year pickup of Josh McGowan and won the championship with them that year. So he's had some quarterback shuffling. It's not as though he's not invested in it. He spent really high picks on both Mariota and Cam Newton. Their careers just haven't really carried him as well as McNabb and the 1 year from McGowan did.
So these two quarterbacks basically are busting the myth that you have to have a top 10 quarterback to go far in these playoffs. We've got Minshew up against Andy Dalton.
Exactly right.
I'm back, guys. I guess think about it. We're on the cusp of possibly having a Derrick Henry versus Jonathan Taylor Super Bowl. So maybe it emphasizes the importance of running backs. And Nathan's no slouch with Devin Singletary and J.K. Dobbins.
Nope.
It's a deep pass to Ingram. Nobody in the zone. I'm fine keeping it the same way, Tim, if you want to keep doing the main play-by-play, and I'll just chime in.
Anytime you want to jump in and then take it over for a while, do so. Just say, hey, I got it for a bit. We can switch it out. Same for you, Michael. So it's 3rd and 6. Not showing blitz here. Probably more likely to flood zones or double team, I'm thinking. It's double teaming Metcalf. We've got an end run today. J.K. Dobbins, he gets 4, 4th and 2. That's your own 36. He'll punt.
He needed that to stay in the base formation because Ingram got dropped from a 4 to a 0. Didn't make the play.
Good point. It was a nice exchange, 64-yard net. So
that's
all the way back to the 2.
Oh no, it's -1 yard. I was thinking it was +1 yards.
Oh, now we got Mr. plus 99.
Right.
This year, let's see, only 94. So yeah, he'll have to hit it off the long game.
Or maybe he'll set him up right now, do a sneak to Dalton, and then hit the big run for Henry.
And he's got the receivers that I was talking about in the first game with Guyton and Peoples-Jones. He's got guys that drop some, but man, they make plays. They're non-long games are like plus 19, plus 21.
Mm-hmm.
Chunk guys.
Well, we were talking earlier how Jonathan Taylor puts pressure on the defense, makes you and really helps Matt Ryan's flat passes. Well, now Derrick Henry puts pressure on the defense, but instead of helping a flat pass, he's really helping those short passes with plus 24, plus 20 long gain. Mm-hmm. So it really makes you think twice about not calling pass and just focusing on Henry. You can't do that.
Exactly right. And it's kind of it's a big play. We've seen Derrick Henry excel in these playoffs in the passing game, and here he goes for 53 on the second time he's hit that in the last 14 minutes of game time. So
wow. Huge. I was worried about him hitting that in the S28 Super Bowl. He never did, but he's gotten it twice in 2 games. That's great.
Yeah. No, I don't think we did near as good a job of calling the plus 53 as Tom Cook did. He made a great call on that. We didn't have the excitement level that we needed. Didn't have the octave changes and all that, but it was a big play.
I didn't see it. I looked away for a second, and I love those extra screens, but I wish they would expand it to be 3 screens so they could resolve the fumble while still having the plus 53 up on the screen.
I did the exact same thing. I didn't see what the yardage was. I was just thinking it was a short gain. So I kept, no, he's past 20 now. So, yeah, he's going for a bit. And, talking about what we were about the Henry aspect of throwing the short passes and getting the long gains to his wide receivers, Guyton and Peoples-Jones, Dalton is good for that too. He's a guy you're like, I don't have to worry as much about Dalton, do I? And he kind of, takes advantage of a lot of, things you could kind of justify calling run against Henry. Yeah, these guys have big plays, but they drop a lot. It's only Dalton. I'm calling run a lot.
So what happened with Nathan's drive? I know he got the bomb to get into Dallas territory, but I guess it ended on a missed field goal. Is that right?
He did not count to 5, Dennis.
Oh, my goodness. You guys got to learn. It's my secret weapon. What was how did the drive end? Was it 4th and less than 5 or 4th and 10? Or
yeah, I'll have to look back. Actually, no, I don't think.
No thought in your mind of Nathan going for it though.
No, it was it was kind of a go for the field goal situation.
Got it.
Here's Henry with a short gain, picking up 14. So he's now 5 runs for 6 yards. Of course, he's got the big 53. So now he's 4th and 3, and he is in field goal range for this guy. I'm almost sure he's got a great. Didn't he go out to 41 or something? Let's see.
Yeah, is it McManus?
Yeah, he goes to 41 at 2 through 8.
And that's something I'm sure Nathan's looked at for the kick returns too. You can put yourself in good field position by just McManus has got a big leg on the field goals, but he also gives up a lot of yardage on returns.
Yeah. So here we go. 3 wide receiver set. I've seen guys do this, and Zeb is one that will do it occasionally too. He's got him out of his base defense here. So there's some, there's some extra options here. I just like staying in, base offense personally, but I've seen Zeb do this a bit. And of course.
And we know Zeb loves the line bucks, and that is reduced only to a 5. So I'm going to go with Henry Linebook here.
I agree.
These are a couple of coaches that'll be after any center 6 that is in the league. They'll be making offers for them. They're going to have good centers. I think Zeb's got a star on the bench at center. Here's a flat pass, 6-yard pickup, 1st down. So the gamble early for Zeb pays off instead of taking the 2 through 8 field goal attempt.
That's another thing too, is looking at your opponents. No 6s, no 6 linebackers, no 6 free safety. You get them 3 wide, you're going to have a good chance of having, 1 man in zone, and you have the white die 6 working for you, and that flat pass guard by Dalton working for you.
1st and 10, showing blitz. Here's Derrick Henry getting 7 more in the passing game, so he's up to 60 yards receiving in the first quarter.
Dramatically reducing his per catch average.
Yes, good point.
I think he can get by with averaging 30, even 15 to catch what he'd be happy with.
2nd and 3 off left tackle. Henry picks up the first down, getting 5. He has 0 worries about carries. Not only do the fact that Henry still has 27 unfatigued carries, but you got Dalvin Cook sitting on the bench, and he'll pick up some carries inside the 10 from time to time. Atlanta 20, showing blitz. There's Allie Cox in the flat zone against the 4, -2. So we got 2nd and 12. We'll see Atlanta show blitz again.
Boy, look at this Atlanta club. Not exactly stout up front. And as a novice coach, I've been doing this for just a few years, obviously. But, anytime you sit there and whine and complain, oh, I need more 5s and need more 6s. Here we are with some Final Four teams with some obvious deficiencies.
Well, he needed a 5 or 6 there because they busted around the end for 22 yards, and that puts Dallas out in front.
Yeah, can you edit that out? That'd be nice. We'll take a 2 on that.
No, but it's interesting. You're right, Michael, because if you look at those generic D cards, those defensive end ratings don't come into play as much as you might think.
Right.
They do have those. If you hit an edge, you're in trouble. But a lot of times it's not them making the plays. It's the linebacker or the
free safety.
The free safety being in the zone or the run blocker blocking. And even when they do make it, it's like not that big a deal. +3 or +16 you can get by with.
Right.
And I think several of us, I will say, because I'm one of those guys, kind of go more for pass rush in the front 7 than we do. Of course, if I can get a linebacker 6 or a nose tackle 6, that's different. But we go for pass rush a little bit more. And I know Nathan typically would rather have a 0-7 than a 4-2, a defensive end.
Oh, of course.
And Dobbins loses 3 there. He's not very good at all, guessed right. As a matter of fact, he's one of the worst in the set. He will punish you guessed wrong, and he will draw some run calls just because of that differential.
That's a 31-yard differential there from +28 to -3 with the correct call.
And what he's looking to do, of course, with Dobbins getting carries and being in the game, set up some guest strong plays to Tyrone Johnson and DK Metcalf. Here's a left flat to DK, not double teamed. Pick up 6, going to set us up at 3rd and 7 as we enter the 2nd quarter. So I've played Dennis a lot, so I know he is a free safety blitz, show it kind of guy. How do you feel about it, Michael?
Tom has said that as I continue to play, I'm going to more and more understand the value of blitzing. And right now, I still think I'm too young in my career. I think I need to watch more games to figure out the advantage of blitzing. I'm too stand around and more on double teams than I am blitzing. And then at the end of the year, your numbers don't reflect anywhere close to the kind of pressure that you could put on teams. It's a work in progress.
Yeah, I've got a team that has a pretty good normal natural pass rush, but doesn't have a very good secondary. I really don't free safety blitz or show it very much with that team. A lot of times I will, if I don't feel like I'm going to get off the field. That team plays the run kind of well too, and I kind of feel like I want to kind of make them work their way down the field with strong runs and flat passes and things like that. And
right,
I just don't want to give up that chunk play on a sniper scope.
Yep.
And a lot of other teams, I'm pretty aggressive with it. I really like to show the blitz a lot if I'm going against a weak offensive line more than anything. I think you can kind of start influencing play calls a lot if you're able to get sacks, and sacks a really good way to get off the field. Not just turnovers, but just once you get a -6 or 7, it's hard to overcome those.
Right. It's. I'm sorry. Please.
No, go right ahead.
There was a throwback league that I was in a couple of years ago, and I can't remember the year that was attached to it, maybe 85, 86. And I took the Minnesota Vikings front line, and there was I think there was at least one asterisk rusher. They all were at least 10, 11 or 12. And I stood around and did nothing basically for the entire year and said, you guys go after it. And for me, someone who's like ultra conservative, that's probably the worst thing that could have happened to me. You've got to play with different lineup sets and different situations so that you can learn when to blitz and when not to blitz. And the last thing you want to do is play a static team like that. The stats are never going to match unless you learn when the appropriate time is to bring those extra linebackers to get those numbers up to make any impact.
Yeah, I've had a couple of teams where I've actually had really good results, kind of making up for a bad D in some ways by blitzing a ton. And it shows in the stats. I got a lot of sacks, but sometimes in the end, I don't think I really improved my team because I would leave so many holes. There's
really
always open
interesting.
I'm a big believer in the blitz. Don't get me wrong, but there are times I realize I think the trade-off too is if you aren't willing to call run when you show blitz, you can get really punished by the running game. And that's what I was mentioning about Nathan and Dennis. And I feel like I do too. I will call run if I'm showing blitz just because I realize the tendency for most guys is that's probably a 90% pass call if he's showing blitz. But you don't want to get that predictable unless it's third and long.
That's good advice.
But I think I look a lot, and Zeb and I have talked about this, at the boost you get from just blitzing linebackers a lot too. And when you really look at the free safety blitz chart on the D rolls, when you're checking, there's like the 1 and then the 2, 3 or the D checks, which will be dump offs or sacks. If it's not a completion off the quarterback card or an interception off of either card, the chances of a dump off actually go down if you're showing blitz because you're also getting the 3, 4 or the 4, 5, 6. So to offset it a little bit, they reduce your chances of a sack on non-flats when you're showing blitz. There are times on like 3rd and 7, I think about that. It's like, I don't really want to increase the chance of a dump off if I don't get a sack. So I don't think I'm going to show free safety blitz here. It's one of those things that, I don't know, I'll without trying to sound wrong about it, it's just kind of one of those quirks you kind of pick up over time. And get a feel. This is down to a free safety blitz on.
Yeah, and what helps too on looking at the linebacker blitz is that I don't have it up here. I'm going to put it up after this play. Is pay attention to the pass rush matchup chart because you can transform your guys from almost an automatic dump off because you have 0%, 0%, 6%. Here's an empty zone look into DK Metcalf gets a short gain. You can transform yourself from like almost no chance of getting a sack to at least 50-50 on I wasn't quick enough. At least 50-50 on maybe 4 out of the 6 just by bringing all the linebackers or bringing 2 of the linebackers. So pay attention to what happens when you bring the linebackers just by looking at the chart, and you can learn when is a good time to do it.
And if you're working the rules, I guess you'd say, and realizing what the rules are, if you're not double teaming more than one guy and you've got 2 actual a combination of 5 defensive linemen and linebackers that are not in the linebacker zone, it's guess right on the quarterback card if you call it. And another thing I believe that kind of comes up, like Dennis is talking about, you can get a lot of flat pass sacks. People think you can't. I feel like my good sack teams average about 10 flat pass sacks per year. That's a big deal too. Another thing, I believe there's a lot of coaches that are willing to gamble on an all-out run key, but they almost never do that and try to go all out to sack the quarterback. And to me, there's more advantage in that than there is going for a run key. It's just me. I feel like it's less risky to go with an all-out pass blitz and bring everybody than it is to do a run key. That's a really risky call to me.
Right. That's a lot of good stuff
you're
there.
You're dead on flat passes if you've sent all the linebackers. There's Dobbins going for 21 with the box coming up. And Atlanta's quietly drove to the 11 with 8:42 remaining in the half. I know Dennis is one of those guys too, but just believe sometimes you just got to make a big play on defense, a 2nd and 6, 2nd and 4, or whatever, and bring every linebacker. Yeah, if it comes up, I don't get the sack and it hits the empty zone, that's a first down for sure. But you make the big play and get them in 3rd and 11, and it totally changes the down and distance on that particular possession. So.
Yeah, sometimes people are afraid to take risks, but they don't realize that there is no risk. If it landed on the quarterback's card anyway, well, there's a 1st and goal with 1. It's going to land on the quarterback's card anyway half the time, and if you bring the pressure, it doesn't matter if you had a guy in the zone or not.
Yep. And and Ed has talked about this when people have argued about, the linebacker 6-0 rule, then you throw in the 2 receiver readings there. Touchdown. So 7-6. Going full house. I was about to say he might go for 2 with his running game. Interesting call. I really like it early in games due to the fact that if you don't make it, you can go for 2, and you're basically 50-50, 50-50. So chances are you got 2 points out of it if you do it the first 2 times you have it. Problem is if you're starting to miss, you can get behind on points, and he makes it.
Chasing points. That's right.
Yep. And I try not to chase points just to tie the score early in games and such. So if I'm Zeb, I'm not probably going for 2 if that's not my normal strategy. Maybe once you get like within 15 minutes or 10 minutes in the game, I might chase it. But I think a lot of times people let that go. And then if you're down 2 and you go for 2 and miss it, if the other guy gets 7, now you're 2 scores down. That's a really big breaking point off to me, 8 and 9. So. There's a 4-yard pickup by Henry.
Who got the kickoff first in this game, I wonder?
Atlanta. Not showing blitz. Off tackle right. Being double teamed, 5-yard pickup is going to make it 3rd and 1.
It's 11 carries now for Henry. Pretty pedestrian, 43 yards.
Yep. So 60 receiving yards that I can remember. So he's contributing, of course, but you kind of get the ominous feeling of impending doom. If you're Atlanta and you're like, he's only at 43, there's a lot of yards probably to come.
I wonder if he'll think about taking a shot here deep.
Possible.
Quarterback he's got 2 5s deep there.
Yeah, quarterback sneak wouldn't shock me here either. You figure the run key's most likely to be on Henry, and it's going to be a right flat to Peoples-Jones. Incomplete. 2 minutes.
Oh, dear. Wow.
Good move by Nathan. But you figure people are going to key Dalton thinking that's going to make Henry guess wrong, and I'm already calling run. So, here he is.
Well, here's your big call.
Where's Dennis? He's going big.
He's channeling Dennis Crowley.
That's right. Does not want to go home. He wants to go big down 1.
In his own territory, Derrick Henry. Maybe he feels that if he punts here, he's gonna go down 2 scores or something.
Yeah, it's not an unlikely place, or situation to go for a 4th and 1. It's out of character a little bit for Zeb, I believe. I think he's normally not a 4th and 1 in this field position, but he's not afraid to make bold decisions.
Maybe he's trying to draw him off sides.
I say he calls run and floods 2 flats here.
I'm still leaning toward there's an end run Henry, 7-yard pickup. I was thinking line up there for a couple of downs. All right.
It was 5 yards, guess right.
So hey, take over play-by-play, Dennis. I'm going to refill my coffee. I'll be back in 20 seconds.
You got it. Okay. So Dallas has the ball, trailing by 1, 5 minutes to go in the second quarter. They just converted a huge 4th and 1. And one thing that I was, that's one of the things I think Zeb did against me, because he felt that he had a much better team than me in S28, is play more conservative and punt on 4th downs. But I think here with Nathan, he feels that maybe he has the lesser team. He definitely has the lesser defensive pass cards, as Nathan as the home team will be playing with a good pass card. So maybe that forces his hand a little bit to be a little bit more aggressive on 4th down, especially 4th and 1 with a guy as good as Henry. So complete on that guest right flat to Dalton. As you can see, Dalton's great. Look at all those hits, but he does have the interception split on 10, or the interception test on 10. And if you get him doubled, that could be a big play for Nathan, especially with the good pass defensive cards. Quick out left to Mulally Cox, 2-minute zone. My card, your card. This goes for +8 on Dalton's card. And that sets up a 3rd and 2. 4:12 to go in the half.
We'll see if he goes in the 3 wide receiver look as he did earlier, or he was in a run formation the last time on 3rd and short. He's staying in the 2 tight end with a couple 6s on the outside.
Well, if he went for it once before, maybe he'll think about maybe taking a shot here again. If he went for it on 4th down.
Really tough to stop this offense. So let's see what he does.
He brought in the possession receiver, Zach Pascal here.
That's correct.
Good point. He had a play in the last game where he forgot to do the sub, threw it to Peoples-Jones anyway, and got a long gain touchdown.
That's right. I remember him talking about that. And his receivers, and of course Henry, aren't the greatest at making all the catches, so it makes sense to bring in a guy like that. Here's a run key, correct, and the block is not made. Quentin Spain unable to make the block. 4th and 2. Will be going to Scotland for Gillian, or will we go for it on 4th down?
Yes, again, you've already gone for it once in your own end.
Mm-hmm.
You're almost like I said on a previous broadcast. You're almost pot committed. Like, why wouldn't I go for it? I already made it. I went for it, made it.
Playing with house money.
Yeah, and he does. Here he comes. So does Nathan sell out and try to key 2 times in a row, or is he going to watch out for Dalton this time? And
you figure the offense would not rely on Dalton being guessed wrong, and he's not going to get 2 yards guessed right. So it's either Henry or a flat pass, I'm thinking.
Right. You can't really sneak it with Dalton here. I mean, you could. That would be a good cross-up. But if you just get a straight run call, that's, your percentages go down dramatically.
Mm-hmm.
And Henry's not going to make every play guessed right, so you don't have to key. And he's not. He's just calling run. There's a long gain. Guyton
Guyton
wow. Down, going to one of his playmakers, and they get the big play, and it is 13-8. And I'm guessing he's going to take the 1. We'll see.
I told you guys he'd go deep.
Now, can I tell you, that's not a my card, your card thing. That's a 9 is also a receiver with 2-minute zone on the D card. So that would have been either way a long gain touchdown.
Yeah, and that was a good call by Michael. He did go deep. He just did most of it after he caught the ball.
He just started short, right?
Yeah. But he did not slow down once he saw open space. Huge 51-yard touchdown.
You can picture that in the NFL, like a guy's running a short crossing pattern. He gets it, the 2 defenders run into each other, and then he's gone.
Yep. And I believe he picks it up there. Yes.
Yes.
It was Taylor Rapp unable to make the play.
Yeah, he correctly keyed him, but it went to the run rating of the linebacker in the zone, which in this case is a free safety. Got stuffed.
And he's a 0 against the run.
Yeah, the white die was a 4, so any other defender would have made it. Or if you would have put your 4-0 at free safety and put your 4-4 at from strong safety to free safety.
So it touched back and Minshew's out. Atlanta trailing 15-8. There's 5 yards for J.K. Dobbins, 7 for 37. Ingram caught had a big gainer on the first drive. I saw that in the notes earlier, but I do not know if it was a long pass, broke a short, or a flat. Haven't seen much blitz being shown so far by Dallas. There's a left flat, 2-minute zone, +7. Got the right card.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. These 2 quarterbacks kind of mirror each other in some ways, a flat pass in particular. But using that kind of card as your quarterback probably also helps you defend that kind of card as a quarterback, as a defensive coach.
Kind of playing against your own scout team, right?
Exactly.
You see that same style when your ones are going against your ones in training camp. Okay, so we got a 4-yard pickup. So 2nd and 6. We'll see if he might go with Singletary. There he does. 16 unfatigued carries.
He was going for Ingram deep on that last play. It
was one of those dice rolls where you had to be a 7 pass blocker to make the block there, or it would have been a sack. And he was a 7. So picks up 0, guessed right. Good call by Zeb, 3rd and 6. Singletary would have got 6, guessed wrong. Marcus Johnson in, 3rd wide receiver, going up against a 4. Marcus Johnson's actually got a very nice flat card for picking up like 6 yards.
He's got a lot of yardage, kind of like a poor man's version of Donovan Peoples-Jones.
Yep, exactly right. Three, 3-5, no blitz. Now, Dallas, short to Ingram, incomplete. Dallas took Isaiah Simmons out there. Of note, he's a 0 as far as run, so he would have no containment and off tackle left. So he just went ahead and took him out on 3rd and 6 there. Interesting.
Good double team.
Yeah, that's a completion if he didn't double the right guy.
Coffin corner kick, 43 yards. Dallas taking over at their 16.
We need to introduce a house rule in SOMIFA and SSFA that when it's under 2 minutes, you can't bring in any halfback that has a plus 50 on his card. Take away that anxiety. I'm sure Nathan's, again, like we talked about in the last game, you can't ignore the run call, but you don't want to call run and give up a bomb.
And he calls run. It's James Carpenter unable to make the block, being a 0, but he is calling run there.
Wow.
He did not call a timeout. It's probably a little bit early to call a timeout after this play. He may, if it's 3rd and long.
Both teams have 3 timeouts here, so
not showing blitz, and he does call run -1. Here, I think Atlanta calls the timeout.
And again, calling run, a lot of us have learned over the years, don't leave your long pass zone empty.
Right.
But when you're defending against a team whose strength is running the ball and flat passes, you can see why Nathan's doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. You worry about the receiver cards, but not so much about Dalton. Interesting. I really expected an Atlanta timeout there, but he may be just thinking, I don't want to give up the 1st down and then 3 more shots at a Henry and run.
Mm-hmm.
I think I take the timeout there and take my shot.
Especially when you're trailing.
Exactly. And you do not get the ball to start the 2nd half, so just blitz being shown.
Cook is a 0 pass blocker, but I don't think we're seeing a short pass by Zeb here. It's going to be a run or a flat.
It's got Jonnu Smith in the game here.
Nathan brought in a 0-4-11 pass rusher. He has a 4-0-8. Look for maybe a run over here to this side as Zeb attacks the 0 run rating of AJ Klein.
It's possible, and he does.
I
think part of that is also and he's got 17. If it's not contained, he does make it. As LJ Fort moved over.
Yeah, he had his 5-4 move over to make the stop.
He would have made the stop anyway, actually.
Because of White Die won?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh my!
No.
This is
why
Cone is here. Hey, he doesn't want to give the ball back, but he changed his mind.
Or you give the ball back with 22 seconds?
I know. But
wait a second. Maybe it was an act.
He's going to try to draw him off sides.
That was our offsides when in a league with no penalties.
I think he's playing mind games.
I just want to see what formation he'd come out in. Yeah.
Yeah, if he comes out 3-2-6 on accident, it's like, yeah, run.
Yeah. Take a shot, yeah.
So now we're looking at Dobbins' big gains on an end run or off tackle versus Minshew's bomb.
And he's got a correct double team here, defender extra short gain, and he would have made the play anyway, but nice call.
No, but if he wouldn't have doubled him. Oh no, it was 3 minute zone anyway. You got it. Yeah, you're right. Completely either way. I was thinking he doubled him with the free safety. I think he moved it to 4 minute zone.
Off tackle draw. It's going to get 9.
Dobbins with 7 rushes left. Will he want to call timeout and try it one more time, or is he like, the odds of me getting to field goal range are low?
That's the frustrating thing about Dobbins. I had him in autumn wind, and he's just got such a fantastic card. And you're like, oh, please get on my card. Stop getting on the defensive card. I don't have it committed to memory, but I think a 4 is. I'm pretty sure it's a short gain. I mean, I think Nathan said that basically 55% of his end runs are short game or better. And you're like, why can't I get a break? Be on my card. Be on my card.
Yeah, and with his low amount of attempts, you're hoping maybe 10 guessed wrong at best, and 5 of them are going to come off your cards if the dice are fair. But if like 7 go off the defensive card, you're like,
Yeah.
Third and 1. Singletary in. Fant is capped. Ingram is capped. They could get him into field goal range, but they're not going to score from here. Singletary has a 51 rushing touchdown.
He's trying to hit it.
He's got down to the 45.
Now he's regretting not calling timeout on that third down.
Yeah.
He's going to try it. Greg the leg needs a snake eyes.
And the wind is back. If you don't even see the kicker card come up, it was out of range.
Yep.
So we're at 15-8 Dallas at the half.
He was out. Greg is out to the 40, out to the 42. So wasn't that? I mean, he had a chance if he got a negative adjustment.
Here's the kickoff. It's going to be a touchback. If you want, Dennis, I'm going to read through the halftime stats. If you might want to pull it up for the viewers at home. We've got 7 first downs for Dallas, 201 total yards, a lot of that in a big play to Guyton. Atlanta's got 10 first downs, 180 yards, and 6 yards per play. Dallas at 6.9, so both offenses percolating pretty well. Hadn't been any sacks in this game. Haven't been any turnovers in this game. 3 yards for Henry, 2nd and 7.
So pretty good game. If Nathan would have made that field goal, we'd be like 15-11, aka 14-10 kind of score.
Yeah, you wonder. Easy to second guess later, but if you take the end run shot with Dobbins there, and you've got a chance, almost the same chance, but you're going for a touchdown rather than a field goal.
Good point.
10-yard pickup.
Maybe just wanted to save that extra carry.
Maybe right.
Yeah, that's what Michael Stuckey's watching the game, and he said, yeah, he wouldn't waste a Dobbins carry there.
I told him to say that.
Hey, Michael Stuckey. There's a look in, 2-minute zone, incomplete.
Dalton's got 143 yards passing, and 2 of them have been on chunk plays of 50-plus to Henry and to Guyton.
Yep, good point. And I think Dallas operates that way kind of during the year, not always to Henry, but he gets chunk plays from his wide receivers and kind of a ball possession play. Otherwise, there's a long pass, guess wrong, incomplete. Very close to an interception, and of course would have been guessed right, and would have been our first turnover.
Yep.
So 3rd and 10.
Dallas has got to put that in the back of Nathan's mind that he can't just leave that long pass open all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got Passel in, so 3 wide receiver set. That's going to flip Peoples-Jones to the 3rd wide receiver slot, going against the 4. Blitz being shown. 0 pass blocker in Cook. Short to Jonnu Smith. His man is moved, incomplete. A couple of linebackers coming there. They only got up to a 5, and the random was 79 on the pass rush chart. So we will see a punt. Gilliam. And Brandon Powell makes a fair catch. 1st and 10, 12:36 remaining, 3rd quarter. Take a look at Dobbins is 7 carries remaining, still quite a few for Singletary. I think he's still got like 15 before they hit fatigue. Off tackle right, Dobbins picks up 3. Nice movement by Zeb there to keep it from being an 11-yard pickup.
As an offensive coach, you're going, man, I wish I would have called a draw there. Then the next time you do, you call a draw, and he's calling run. And so it's even worse. So you have to all those strategies. You have to figure out when to use them.
Both these defensive coaches will call run a lot, and you'll see other coaches that hardly ever do, and they probably see a higher percentage of draw plays than coaches that consistently call run. Here's an in run left for Henry, and he does call runs. Pick up a 12.
Mm-hmm.
And
he flooded 2 flats there.
Yep. So Singletary's only 4 carries into his afternoon, 13 unfatigued remaining.
And again, as an offensive coach, you're like, okay, I'm glad that happened on Singletary's card, not on the few remaining ones I have on Dobbins' card.
And 0. Your cue, Michael. What was that?
Oh, this is Tom Cook's cue. What are we talking about here? The dreaded 5.
Yeah. Well, Tom's the original guy, but
you've adopted that as your username, so we got to give you credit for that a little bit.
Yeah. 2nd and 10.
Oh, hail King Cook.
Here's a guess strong run. He's going to pick up 8 on the nice block. Morgan Moses. 3rd and 2.
He's also got Antonio Gibson here as a 3rd option after he gets done with Dobbins and Singletary. So he's not really low on carries. He's just low on carries for those guys.
See a flat path to one of those tight ends here. It's a Singletary in run left. He's going to be guessed wrong and get 5 yards, 1st down. As you see, Singletary, very nice. 14 chances of short gain or better. Guessed wrong in run.
What would that have been guessed right?
+1. He's one of those guys that has a very good guessed right in run.
Yeah, those -8s, -7s will kill you.
Yeah,
lots of good yards on there.
Yeah, if you've only got the negatives he has there for the whatever 25% of the time people are going to call run or 33 or whatever against you. Yeah, that's a really nice weapon to be able to go outside on downs you don't want to lose 8 yards on.
Boy, Nathan has to be thinking, when am I going to see a Dobbins run on his own card? That's another on the defensive card.
It's an incomplete 4 men in zone. That knocked receiver reading off of the charts there. So it's 3rd and 9. 3 wide receiver set. We see Marcus Johnson come in against a 4.
Minshew's 9 of 16 so far for 99.
Dobbins is still in. Short to DK Metcalf. It's got that completion, 10 yards. Nice pickup for Minshew.
Covered by 6, so Nathan's figuring out he's not going to waste a double team, let Marlon Humphrey handle it alone. But Zeb will double team anybody.
Nathan doesn't take too many carries back to the locker room after the game, so I get a feeling Singletary is going to get a lot of action in the next 10, 12 minutes. There's an in-run Singletary. Guess wrong. Short gain, 18, gets a big one.
He needed that. He's into field goal range now. Feels like he's going to get something out of this drive.
Yep. And you're in that range where just pretty much all your completions long are going to put you in the end zone, so. See if he rides Singletary or goes. There's 3-yard pickup. Brandon Williams unable to make the play. Would have taken a first name like Fat as your nose tackle to make it there, or a nickname.
We talked earlier in the other game how both coaches had free safety 6s. Here we've got one with a 4 and one with a 0.
Mm-hmm.
Zeb's defending with that 0 free safety, so maybe you do take a few more shots over the top. But again, Zeb's not one to leave him in the zone, so you're not going to get that defender in zone reading. He drops him down.
So 1-yard pickup as Brian Burns makes the play.
Nathan likes going deep with his tight ends too. He really likes that, and he's got that force.
That would have been a good time for you. You hit the receiver reading, guess wrong, maybe get a chance to put it in the end zone. But
goes back to GMing. Nathan drafts players that fits his style of coaching, and I like that about GM aspect of it. He puts himself in a situation where he can use the kind of players he likes to use. Lots of good running backs. 10-yard
mustache strikes again. 2 back-to-back 3rd and long completions for Gardner Minshew.
You have no chance at a Super Bowl without a completion on 7. So for him, I think we laugh at it.
I wonder how many Super Bowls that user is actually.
Exactly. Here's a 13-yard pickup. Ingram touchdown, and Atlanta's 15-14 down. Will they tie or go for 2? They will go for 2. Kind of get a feeling this is one of those things Nathan's already thought out. Again, Simmons is a 0 over to the left against the run.
And he converts again.
Gets the block. DK Metcalf with the full house turning him into a 4. Makes the key block there.
You can picture that too. He's a big enough boy to throw a mean block on somebody, set the edge.
I could see him. Yeah, I could definitely see him handling a cornerback or a safety.
He's no Cooper Kupp, though.
Yeah, Kupp would have made that block without the full house, mind you. So here we are, Derrick Henry. Tons of carries left. Sitting at 17, unfatigued. He's going for Peoples-Jones. Incomplete short. Look at those pickups, though. You're basically getting 2 first downs minimum when you get a completion off that card.
Yeah, like you said, you're going for fewer hits, but when they do hit, it's a bigger impact.
And I think certain defenses or coordinators are looking at that too. It's like, yeah, I really want to call run a lot, but man, there's a lot of chances for there's a 1-yard or a 5-yard pickup to Henry. There's a lot of chances for huge plays if you're constantly guessed wrong on those short passes. And on just a short pass, and I've heard Zeb talk about, it's not the catastrophic sack and turnover chance. You're getting a fairly decent normal play just running a short pass, from time to time. A lot of us love to go over the top, but the short pass, there are certain coaches that really use that more than others do. And I've heard Zeb talk about, for him, part of it is just the additional turnovers you get out of Dalton, and the fact that you've got a lot fewer sacks, so you're going to get more dump offs, things like that.
Both of you guys being veteran coaches, and we've called 2 games tonight. It seems to me that these quarterbacks, obviously these are not 2 stars by any stretch. It seems to me that can you win in this game and go far with a really good quarterback but a less than average running attack? I'm starting to figure out, I don't know that there's really much of a way to win that way. I mean, you really have to have a pretty solid running back. Now, Dennis, I've seen you play with, players that are not like big time names or anything. I've seen you win games with Frank Gore, basically. But it seems to me like having that threat in that backfield just makes so much of an impact. It doesn't matter if you've got Mahomes under center or Aaron Rodgers or, Deshaun Watson. The running backs seem far more important when wanting to progress here than top name quarterbacks.
No, you're on to a great point. I'll let Dennis answer it because he's had really good success, I think, with guys that have a team that has a lot of available carries, and they're pretty good.
Yeah, what you either need one of 2 things. You need a running back that's going to get the other coach to call run so you can pass against wrong, or you need a running back that's steady and a great offensive line so that you're going to get you yards on the defensive cards or on their own cards guessed wrong. So Frank Gore is a good example of that. I mean, they may not have a very exciting card, but people don't respect him enough to call run. But if you pair him with a great offensive line, you're in good shape. Or if you have a great running back card that has a lot of short gains, they're going to call run, and you're going to be able to pass it.
And then you've also got the thing I think some of us have used quite a bit, and I know Dennis is huge on this. If they're calling pass all the time, you can play the box game. You're running draws. They're moving linebackers, thinking, I'll just defend it by moving my linebackers up, and you're opening up, getting those boxes with the draw calls.
That's
huge pickup there. But I know, Dennis, you do that sometimes out of a 3 wide receiver set. You'll be running draws knowing, hey, I've got a lot of box opportunities, running these draws.
Absolutely. And it's different in stock leagues and draft leagues. So there's lots of factors. You got to really get to know what works for you.
Strong bomb, defender extra elongate, incomplete.
Oh man, Dante Jackson, Carolina Panther,
earning some of his investment into him as a 5 by making the play on a 5. You're like, what's the difference in a 5 and a 4? A touchdown right there. 2nd and 10, not showing blitz, in run left, guessed right. No, it was a flat pass, excuse me, for 9 yards by Dalton, guessed wrong. And
that's something else I've noticed in both of the championship contests tonight, that all 4 of the teams have had corner 5s or 6s. Maybe there was like a slot corner for one of these clubs, but they pretty much have 5s on the outside. It's almost been universal.
In the field goal range now, could take the lead. If he doesn't convert here, I wonder if he'll go for it again. No need.
13 to Guyton. I think you're onto something there. And like I was mentioning earlier too, Nathan will GM to what he wants to do as a coach. And if you notice all the 5s across the short zone, he's a guy that likes free safety blitz. He's not nearly exposed if a tight end gets a long game. Or a running back, because most of those guys are going to be capped, but he's got really good defenders, so he doesn't have to keep the free safety home to stop the long pass. He can kind of attack with free safety blitzes or move the free safety up and help with his flat zone defense too.
Excellent.
Not showing blitz here. Makes me think he may be leaning run. Yep. Off tackle right, Cook. Guess right, -2. I've noticed a couple of times tonight when Nathan has not shown blitz, he's more likely to call run. It's not necessarily a pattern that'll continue, but I've noticed that a couple of times early on. Derrick Henry in now on 2nd 12. Cook's got a lot of short gains and, of course, got the guess right short gain that he just missed on that one. There's a guess wrong short pass. Peoples-Jones incomplete. If he gets one off those off his card and he happens to be one of the 50% that he catches, he's in the end zone. So
he's been hedging his bets a lot tonight, flooding 2 flats and calling run.
Yep. And there's certain coaches that are very much an all or nothing. I am very much a hedger. I like kind of not getting killed all the time if I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I'm more of a hedger.
But that's a situation there that even if that's on the defensive card, with that 5, most likely than not, that play's going to be made.
Yep.
So you're kind of shielded from an incorrect call.
Yep. Showing blitz here. It's going to be a flat right. Jonnu Smith, no man in zone, 5-yard pickup. It's one of those situations you had enough guys coming, only one or fewer double teams, so it gives you the chance to be guessed right there. Mm-hmm. And here's McManus to try to give Dallas the lead early in the 4th quarter. And it's good. Just under 14 minutes remaining. Dallas 18, Atlanta 16.
And you can't go for 2 on a field goal. So that's like one of the advantages of getting that 1-point lead is that every time you guys traded field goals, advantage Nathan. Let's see if he can get into field goal range on this drive.
I think we're going to see some more of Singletary in this drive. He's been moving. He had his best drive of the game, I think, when Singletary was running. Of course, Dobbins, nothing wrong with Dobbins, but Singletary's been a spark for him. There's a 7-yard pickup, no men in zone. It would have been a white die 6 anyway.
We are into the 4th quarter, 13-12 to go in the game.
Here's Gibson in the game. He's got to have a good flat catching card. I'm going to take a quick look. Yeah, he's a 5, mostly guess wrong kind of guy. He's got a plus 40 on 2. Just bring that up since Henry's been nailing his edge rolls on the flats. Incomplete.
Yeah, I remember when I played Nathan and we made our way about midway through the 3rd quarter, and you're just basically just dodging bullets with Dobbins, and then Singletary punches you in the mouth, and then here comes Gibson. It's like, oh, come on. Who has a roster like this with these 3 running backs? It's like playing the Dolphins back in the 70s.
Here's the long pass. 1 man, nobody in the zone.
Quarterback flush from the pocket, 7-yard pickup. Key dump off. Tyron Johnson, first catch of the day, 7 yards. He's one of those guys that can sneak up on you too. You throw to him 3 times a game, but twice long, and catch one of those guessed wrong. He's got huge plays. He's one of those guys that are really, and Nathan and I talked about this, like Marcus Johnson, they're really cheap pickups. They look like he may not even be in here's a dump off 4 yards. Look like they may not be in the NFL a year or 2 from now, but they've got cards because of that. They've got very valuable yardage cards. They'll be top 15 short wrong or long wrong, and they go to the 4th or 5th round. You know, very cheap 1-year assets, and sometimes you get more. Marcus Johnson's in his 2nd year. Here's a 13-yard.
White die 6 finally showed up.
Yep, left the guy in the zone, but got a white die 6.
Into Dallas territory.
You kind of like the left end run a lot in this situation, and he's going right end run here. It'll be guessed right. Going to get a 3-yard pickup. Like Boger, unable to make the block there. But you like the left end run here for the fact that even though he's got a 6 against the run over there, he's guarding Noah Fant. So it's not like you can really move him a whole lot. 11 carries, 64 yards. And there's a 9-yard pickup that left a right defensive end unable to make the play. Ogba was a 4 versus a 6. And that's one of the reasons I think you kind of run toward that side, other than the fact that Isaiah Simmons, the right inside linebacker, is a 4 against the run. Like I say, it's not that Miles Jack isn't a great run defender. It's just hard to move him when he's guarding Fant. Here's Dobbins. Off tackle, guess wrong. 3 yards close to that big short gain.
Well, he finally got on his card.
And they're to the Dallas 29. 9:18 remaining, down by 2. There's Dobbins back in. You don't think an end run here. You think if he's running, it's going to be between the tackles.
3 unfatigued yards for him.
Double teamed. Get a pass rush boost here. Ingram. It's going to be a dump off 5 yards. Set up a 3rd and 2.
Man, if I'm Nathan, I really want to convert this 3rd down because this just has the feeling of one of those heartbreak shanked 10 field goal chances.
Yep. He might not count to 5.
Correct double team by Zeb.
Good call. Knocks off a receiver reading.
Okay. We got now 1,
2,
2, 3,
4.
4. Oh, he got it. He must have counted fast.
Well, we're 3 seconds behind on this broadcast. So.
Oh yeah, and the time zone differential. I think a butterfly was flapping its wings. So here we are, down by 1. Plenty of time to do anything you want. 8:06 remaining. 1st and 10.
You threw the butterfly effect into the broadcast. That's nice.
Yeah. I actually like the movie, but I actually like the physics part of that too.
No, that joke is heady. Don't get me wrong. That works on so many levels.
Yeah, and there's a lot of that stuff in the first 2 Jurassic Park books too, which is very interesting. But a lot of chaos theory kind of thrown in there with Ian Malcolm character. There's a look in. Guess wrong. They don't show the receiver card long enough. There's no fumble. It's a 10-yard game.
Yeah, that one I saw. It was 10 yards, and then it went to the fumble chance. But again, program is so you have 3 columns here. So you bust open a 3rd, shrink them down, and then you have a 3rd one. So you leave the +10 up, you leave the fumble reading up in a different one.
Yeah, or just have the fumble part come up in a separate pop-up box instead of expanding the card if you don't want to do that. 1-yard pickup, guessed right.
Yeah, a lot of good guest rights today. Both these coaches are coaching well on defense against 2 really strong.
Yep, neither one will concede the run to you, so and both teams run a lot. 2nd and 9, not showing blitz. So
Quick,
looking at 2-minute zone, guess wrong. 3-yard pickup. Here's where Dalton kind of comes in handy. He has not just maxed out, he's maxed out plus flat, and that's the plus. So it's
just about the best possible result for Nathan, aside from a throw to the halfback that landed on the 7 of the receiver.
Yep, and you've got a 0. If he doesn't move, you've got a 0 right outside linebacker here, but playing right next to him is Tremaine Edwards, who's a 6 versus the run. Do you think maybe linebacker, which takes away containment if both linebackers are not there? In other words, if he's only got 1, here he is showing blitz. But you lose containment if you only have 1 linebacker.
Correct. You can even run a draw there, yeah, just to make sure that if you get on the D cards, you got nobody in the zone.
You'd think he's at least got 4th down going for it in the back of his mind. So, showing blitz. It's a left flat, 2-minute zone, -2. 4th and 8. I think you punt.
Yeah, too much time left.
Yep.
Hey guys, it's Tom.
Hey Tom.
Hey Tom.
It was a white day 3 in box scores if you had done the line book.
Oh.
That would have been good.
It's a fumble, but he falls on it. Scary play for the Falcons. Brandon Powell fumbled the punt, but fortunately, Juan Thornhill falls on the ball. Got Singletary back in here. 1st and 10. Atlanta love to get about 2 or 3 play first downs.
Chew up that clock.
Zeb knows that. In runs, unable to make the block. Ingram a 4, so it's no gain. Set up a 7.
And you saw him bring the linebackers down. He's like taking more chances now, not worrying about the flat passes, just trying to, if he thinks he's going to run it, I'm going to plug the zone.
We saw some great calls against the Bengals by Zeb when he was kind of down to the last yard or two. And ended up making a huge double team interception.
Look for Ingram here.
I think Nathan's going to run it.
I do too. I think he's going to run it between the tackles. Short to Fant and not double teamed. 3-minute zone, 14-yard pickup.
Huge play.
Mm-hmm.
Noah Fant doesn't seem like he's had 4 catches for 45, but he does. 4:12 remaining. So we can get under, if you get a couple 3-play first down, you're under 3 minutes with the ball. Really important series of downs for the Cowboys. Got a double team and a blitz. Looking to Fant, incomplete.
The time like jumps down here. Like, it's funny when your coach is like 3:54, 3:36, 3:18. It's like, it just, it can run away in a hurry if you're trying to stop it and get the ball back.
Yeah, reminds me of some World War I and II documentaries I've listened to about people retreating and just the frustration of 40 miles away. We're still retreating 30 miles, 25, and just the frustration. You see that kind of with your offense, and in this case, your defense. If you're behind in a game, incomplete. Nice play by Jalen Thompson. The only play he could make on a 4.
4s can make plays too.
3:36 remaining, but Zeb has got some life with a 3rd and 10. He has not been blitzing. Free safety blitzing, I should say. Probably.
Can his linebackers contain on a run here?
You got a 4-4, a 5-4, and a 5-6.
Yep.
So if he wants to run it, he's going to run it up the middle or towards the tight end.
Off tackle run maybe here, off tackle right.
Yeah, take a chance at that box if you are going to run it.
Yeah, you get this. There's a lot of good readings on a line buck with nobody in the zone. So run a draw up the middle, try to get that 5 can still make a block. And steady.
Huge roll coming.
Hey,
Marcus Johnson, 62 yards inside the 10. Gardner Minshew coming through in the clutch.
He says, run it. I'm going to run it right down your throat.
Exactly. Just
Minshew getting some information in from the sidelines that the long zone may be open. We've seen some openings deep and takes a shot for it. And Marcus Johnson, very unknown wide receiver, 1 catch, 62 yards. Now, Zeb has 3 minutes. And there's no more first downs going to occur unless it gets into the end zone. So,
yeah, Zeb needs to keep him out of the end zone because you know what's going to happen. He's going to get a touchdown, and he's going to go for 2, and you're going to be down 9 points if you don't stop him. So you got to stop him here, keep him to a field goal, make it a 4-point game.
Yeah.
Two plays. He needs 2 perfect defensive calls.
Full house, 3-4, no blitz.
Gibson has replaced Dobbins. Or maybe he's always been in there in the full house. I just didn't notice. Better guess right than Dobbins for sure.
King Gibson, correct key, off right tackle, loses a yard.
Now you need 1 more perfect call. You get this 1 call, you get the ball back with Derrick Henry and a chance to win to go to the SOMIFA Bowl.
Defense will take a timeout. So 3rd and goal from the 6. We'll see what formation. We're going to see the full house. Will not get the benefit on a stop short of forcing a timeout with a 2-minute warning pending. But he's definitely got a better chance at a run block with those 4s and a line buck. They'll push a center up to a 6.
I say short pass to Gabe Neighbors. Your friendly neighborhood fullback is going to make the play to send Atlanta to the SOMIFA Bowl.
I think there's a better shot of him throwing to Jim Neighbors.
Yeah.
It's Gabe Neighbors time. Come on. Go Gabe or go home.
Off tackle right, Gibson going to be guessed wrong. Defensive end makes the play. Brian Burns, the second time this game he's come up with a run play, and it's 4th and goal.
All right, you got to kick the field goal if you're Nathan, but now Zeb has breathed a sigh of relief.
Wow.
It's going to be down 4. He's going to get the ball back. He's going to have 2 timeouts. Not a perfect situation, but
making the best after a 62-yard play. So
right.
Kick is good. 22-18. Atlanta trying to get to their first Super Bowl. Dallas trying to get back for the 4th time. It's going to be 9 yards deep.
I should have turned my animation off. I don't want to miss a play here. Am I locked?
Is a touchback?
Yeah, I'm locked.
Okay, here we go. Staying in a run-friendly formation, 2 wide receiver, 2 tight end with Derrick Henry.
Now, what do you do here if you're Nathan? Do you call run? Do you dare call run?
Yep, he's not showing blitz. Are you going to go with Peoples-Jones or Guyton if you're Nathan? Or I'm sorry, Zeb here. It's going to end run wrong, Henry. He stays in bounds, stop for no gain.
Looking for that 9. Didn't get it.
Number 9. 2nd and 10. Does not take the timeout.
Yeah, 1:30.
15 potential plays, so he's got a lot of time. He doesn't have to pass the ball, but 2nd and 10 here. It's so hard to call run in these situations, isn't it?
It is.
Short to Peoples-Jones. He's being double teamed. Taylor Rapp incomplete. Rapp unable to make a play on a key against Henry on a 2-point conversion. Makes a successful double team there, and we're at 3rd and 10. Dallas at their own 25. 1:22 remaining.
We saw some clutch throws by the mustache earlier in the game to convert some 3rd and 10s.
Yep.
3rd and longs. Now it's Dalton's time.
Red rifle.
Have it.
Mm-hmm.
He has the completion on 7, right?
No, that's one of them does not have a completion on 7.
Oh, it's Dalton. What's he doing in the game here?
No wonder he's up against it. Yeah,
he's really, really good at handing the ball off to running backs, though.
He stays base, 3-3-5 against base.
Throwing into a 2-man zone, incomplete. And right guy 6, that would have been a short gain.
Wow.
Big play by Nathan. So a 4th and 10. We'll see if we get a 3 or 4 wide receiver set. 3 receivers. Jonnu Smith in is a better receiving tight end on the right. Dalvin Cook in. I have seen him throw to Cook some this year.
Dump off still in play. Nathan not showing blitz. I don't think you're going to risk a sniper scope at this point of the game.
In the shotgun formation, takes away some of the end run against those zeros possibility that unlikely, but it's still possible. So we'll see a pass almost for sure here. We try to pick a flat zone that's going to be abandoned, or will he go short or maybe deep? You can't move Peoples-Jones back to the long zone without opening him up with the flat. So linebacker, he's going up.
What a call. What a time for it. Box cars. Well, not box cars, but the double box. Gets
knowing he's going to be a single back guest right, he predicts correctly that he's going to be able to get some box action in the middle and does. He had a chance at the 6 also with the center being a 5 there. That would have been plus 10, but great call going for the 6. Excuse me, 6, 7, 8 rolls on the defense, and he nails it.
And like Dalton at the short pass as the alternative.
Right, and who could blame him? I mean, that's not exactly money in the bank. So now you're back at the same spot. You made those 2 really good calls, double teaming Peoples-Jones, flooding the flats. Now you got to do it all over again.
He's wrong. Oh, big chance there. Yes, wrong. Peoples-Jones on a short pass, incomplete. And had that been guessed right, that was a pick.
Incomplete still on Peoples-Jones cards if it would have been the same split breakdown. If it would have been like a receiver reading 12 on the secondary roll would have been incomplete. But that was close. A big play.
That's where Derrick Henry gets a carry. 1 minute remaining, down by 4. 2nd and 10 at their own 44. Cowboys trying to get into the end zone. Field goal does them no good.
Better chances for Henry guessed wrong long gain on an end run than there is.
Flat pass right, guess wrong or wrong, and it's going to be 10 yards and out of bounds for Henry, saving the last time out for Dallas.
Big break there.
Yep. Got 8 potential plays still in the books if you get out of bounds or have incompletes and use your timeout. So still got a possible few plays. Peoples-Jones and Guyton, so dangerous, guessed wrong, especially from the 46. Those long gains could put you in the end zone. Even the short that aren't long gains that come off the receiver card get you halfway there. Here's a right flat, guessed wrong, 8-yard pickup. Does he get out of bounds? No.
What's cool is if you look at the dice here up top, you can tell right away. If it's not a 2, 4, 6, it's not out of bounds.
Well, what's the fun in that?
Yeah, I was trying to inject drama. I believe Tom would agree. Inject drama when you get a shot, So we got a 3rd and 2 at the Atlanta 38. 2 tight end with the better receiving tight end in Jonnu Smith going against a 4. Does he take his end zone shot here? It's off left tackle, guessed wrong. Henry made the play. Tremont Edwards, who we mentioned earlier, 6 versus the run, makes a huge stop there.
That'll burn a timeout.
It will. Isaiah Simmons on the other side of the ball would not have made the play as a right inside linebacker. So we got 4th and 3. Ball. See if the timeout is used or they try to rush. They will use the timeout. Good call. 30 seconds remaining. You can use the spike if you have to now, but you don't want to do it too early. And I agreed with him not using a spike earlier. I think a lot of coaches spike it a little bit too early, and one, it puts you in the down and distance hole, but also it gets you into run containment a little down early. So here we got 3 wide receiver, 1 running back set on 4th and 3.
All right, I got my call wrong last time. What are you guys going to predict?
No contained, no dump off. I haven't guessed any of these right all day, so I'm not guessing anymore.
I'm going for linebuck again. That's Zeb.
I think he runs a linebuck too. Draw.
I'm going flat pass.
Flat to Guyton.
Flat to Jonnu.
A look-in pass would be interesting because I think he's going to slide that 5 somewhere.
I think I slide the safety up. I get 2 and looking possibly.
If you get that 5 up into the linebacker zone, that linebacker comes up 8 times out of 72 or so. He'll make all those.
He's a 5'6". Good point.
Looks like Zeb did what he wanted to do before Nathan. Right? Nathan's taking his time the defensive call.
Yeah,
I've done this before too. I'll check the tendencies. I don't scout that much, but I'll look at it in this moment.
Flat pass guess right. 1 man in zone, and that's a 0. 5-yard pickup. Inbound. Now we'll see a spike.
All right, you need 34 yards. Is it time to try to take a shot at that Henry guessed wrong end run? Or, juxtapose that with a bomb from Dalton.
Now you're down to a maximum of 3 plays, and if you're staying in bounds, 2 plays. You've got to throw almost here, but you've got Henry.
Yeah, you got to throw with anybody except Henry. I mean, Henry and run.
You can run another play if he doesn't get out of bounds on a run?
I don't think so. I think you'd have to spike it, and then
you can spike it, so you'll get 1 more play. You'll get if you run here, you get 15 and 1.
Yep.
If you pass it, you can get possibly 3 passes if you get out of bounds or have an incompletion on those other plays.
Yep, you're only going to get 2 plays if you don't get out of bounds.
Oh, it would be nice if the 4 would have been plus 34 here instead of plus 31.
He's in the 3 wide receiver, 2 running back set, so single back guess right is not in play here.
Everett cannot go deep, and he's not a good pass blocker, so I'm not sure why he's in the game.
This is one of those. We've talked about this actually during a broadcast once about not every coach knows about this. I think Nathan does, but a lot of coaches will assume it's single back guess right is in play when they see the 3 wide receivers, but I don't think Nathan does. I don't think that's why Zeb is doing it either.
Well, Everett does have a max of 40, so if he hits a short gain sniper scope, and the defense doesn't like what they saw in that formation, so they take a timeout. So he can go 40 yards. If somehow you would hit like defender extra long gain, he can go the distance, but
Yep.
it's not blocking much for you, and you can't target him deep.
Yeah, and there's no dump off at this point, so the 3 men in zone rolls of 2 or 12 will come up a little bit more without the dump off rule pushing those to a dump off play.
Good point.
2nd and 10, 2 wide receiver or 2 tight end set. Jonnu Smith again back in at 2nd tight end. Blitz being shown. Jonnu Smith covered by a 4. Hint, hint.
Yeah, can they both? Yeah.
I get a feeling.
Smith can go deep.
Go ahead.
Right. So Smith goes deep. Cox cannot go deep, I don't think. Well, he can go deep, but he doesn't have. Oh no, he's good too. So any of these guys can.
Anybody.
Any of these guys can go deep. Henry, of course, can go. He doesn't. You can't target him deep, but he has a 53 long.
There's a long to people. So gets wrong. Incomplete. Wow.
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness gracious.
Scary shot. I'm sure Nathan was like, get this roll over with.
At least he had a man in the zone. With no man in the zone, it's still incomplete.
Wonder what a 4 is on Dalton's card. Get strong.
I'll check that out.
3rd and 10, Atlanta 34.
That's a long
2
game.
tight ends, and Henry still in the game. 3-3-5 being shown. Run contain would be in effect here.
So again, you got 1 or 2 plays. If you run it and he doesn't get out of bounds, or if you throw it and he doesn't get out of bounds, that's it. That's the game.
Yep. And LJ Fort is probably going to end up in the right linebacker zone to provide containment, you would think.
Yeah,
It'd be a possibility. He's shown that before.
Nick Boyle can't go 34 yards.
And he does end run over there. Does he get out of bounds?
Does not. It's a 5. That's the game.
Congratulations, Nathan, going to your first SOMIFA Bowl. 22-18.
Zeb feels like he didn't lose. He just ran out of time.
Yep.
Great one.
Excellent game. Congratulations.
I think we're going to get both coaches in here for a little post-game interview. So if you guys have something you want to cover, let's take a quick look at the stats before they join us. Pretty even game. Atlanta had more first downs and more yardage, but not a great amount more. They had that missed field goal as well. 5 for 5. Dallas was 5 for 5 on 4th downs.
Wow.
Now that's efficiency, but they came up a little short. Nathan never went for it on 4th down, but was 50% on 3rd down, 6 of 12, while Zeb was 4 of 15. So advantage Gardner Minshew over the Red Rifle. Derrick Henry never got loose for one of those big runs. 22 yards was all you got. Here's Zeb. Zeb, we feel for you. Great game. That was really exciting.
Yeah, don't feel for me.
So tell us your thoughts. How did you feel about, like I told everybody that you just maybe felt like you just ran out of time on that last drive?
Well, I mean, obviously, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I had a chance to get out of bounds on that play too. I had to try something. And
yeah, I got to pull a short straw here. I got to get Nathan in, and only 6 people can go. Ed, I'm going to drop you, okay? You can watch the rest after on the YouTube. Thanks, bud. Sorry, you can still listen. I'm just removing you from the.
You kicked the commissioner out.
I know that's dangerous.
Jeez.
One of my trades always get looked at. That's hard. Sorry, Ed. Ed wasn't joining us anyway, but congratulations, Nathan. We're
Thank
just
you.
asking Zeb how he's feeling on that last drive.
Oh my God, you had me sweating, and you were getting your shots, and I was just sitting there praying, and got lucky.
Speaking of Derrick Henry not getting anything, Dennis, Donovan Peoples-Jones really didn't come up big either, and I had a few good looks to him too.
I would have expected him definitely to have some plays without how I was calling D. I would definitely have expected that.
We thought your heart was probably skipping a beat, Nathan, on that long guess wrong to Peoples-Jones, but you can't just sit back and let Henry run either. So,
well, even the short passes to Peoples-Jones, I mean, it can be just as dangerous because of all the receiver columns on the D card. I mean, because Dalton's not doing much for you, so really you're just scared to death of a lot of the time the D card, you know.
Yeah, and I think the last bomb to Donovan Peoples-Jones was a 4. Dalton's guessed wrong on a long gain, on a long pass on a 4 is a long gain. So, you know, my card, your card there. There were several times where you had Peoples-Jones guessed wrong and it would land in between 2 completions, or, you know, it would miss the plus 24 or long gain. It just didn't seem to happen tonight. I thought both of you guys called an excellent game, never abandoning the run calls on defense. You know, we can go back earlier in the game to the very first drive when you missed that field goal. Nathan, did you what were you
before this game? I just played a Frozen Tundra game. I drove down to the 16-yard line, the same exact spot, 2 through 10, and shanked a field goal that would have gone to overtime. And so when that happened, I was like, oh my God, this is not good. 2 in a row, 2 kicks in a row, 2 through 10 in the same spot.
Yeah, it wasn't quite. It wasn't. I mean, if you go back and watch the first semifinal game, there was like Tony kept getting bad break after bad break. I don't think this was like that. That was just one bad break, but this was just like, you know, every time you're one of the guys is making a positive drive, the other one comes back and gets a positive drive after that. I want to talk real quick about the 2-point tries, because Zeb was a little bit unlucky because he scored the first touchdown. And he didn't know about your strategy of going for 2 every time.
That's unlucky to score the first touchdown.
No, I mean, actually, Dennis, that did not catch me by surprise.
I did a lot this year.
We had played in the regular season, and I wasn't. I mean, if somebody wants to go for 2, then you know they can go for 2, and if they get it, then you know it changes the dynamic either way. But I didn't feel any pressure to go for 2 until he successfully converted 1.
Got it. So that's what I was going to ask you. Is you weren't knowing that he was going to do that a lot. That didn't affect your first conversion try.
No,
I don't even go for 2, even if they go for 2 and get it, and I score. If I don't like the matchups, I don't even go for 2. I'll still just kick the extra point. But lots of times, in this team in particular, I really like my options.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. Was it more your guess right running, or was it more Zeb's 0s and 4s against the run that are good?
It's all of that. It's the fact that Minshew has a great guessed wrong short pass. So when I throw short, it's usually not going to be double teamed down there. So your worst case scenario is 4-minute zone run, or maybe like a pass where they blitz, or 4-minute zone. It's never really bad. And running the ball, I mean, I can run inside and I can run outside with those backs, and it's in a full house. So you've got the boost to the run ratings going against kind of weaker ratings on the D line, which I know all about. I've got the same situation. I got a worse situation, I think. But at least my linebackers are lifesavers, the middle linebackers. I think you had a 0 at least at one of your spots, right?
yeah,
That did come up during the game too.
that would be the rookie Isaiah Simmons.
Yeah, Simmons.
And then one of you have a free safety 0. I think that's you, Zeb. So you had Taylor Rapp in the zone, and he couldn't make
so
stop.
I have a free safety
That's
0 against the pass.
0 run. He's got the 0 pass.
Oh, okay. So then you had the 0. Nathan, you on Zeb's 2-point conversion on a second touchdown, you had it plugged, but the white die was a 4, and Rapp's run rating was a 0.
Yeah, and that was an oversight on my part. I should have been bringing in the 4 anyway. I don't think it would have mattered. I don't know on that one, but In the second half, on a lot of third downs, I brought in the 0-4 free safety so I could put him up and contain if need be.
I figured Minshew's must runs kind of helps a little in the 2-point decision as well, because if must run comes up, he's got a few of those as well to help you convert. Yes, right.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, if you just think you have better than a 50-50 shot, I mean, you almost should just go for the 2-point conversions, unless, I mean, I'm not like a psycho or I'm just going to do it no matter what at the end of the game if I think I can play it out and pick a better spot, you know.
We did a little speculation. Had you gone up 8 on your last drive when you kicked the field goal, or had you gone up 7, would you have gone for 2 to try to put it away?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was Dennis's
That's a no-brainer.
I think I'd have chickened out and just tried to go up 8, but that was Dennis's thought.
No, that's a no-brainer because I get to make the call. I like it when I get to make the offensive call, and I like my matchup better anyway.
Yeah, and speaking of that was a great stop by you, Zeb, because you needed to have 2 perfect plays in order to keep him out of the end zone there, so it wouldn't become, a possible 2-score game. So talk to us about that second and third down call. I think you keyed the guy right one time.
Gibson off tackle was it's a good call there.
I think you doubled I'm not sure what the third down one, but both times you got what you needed.
On third down, I called pass and he ran, but I had one man in the zone, and that helped Brian Burns make a stop. He should have. I mean, he had a 2 and 3 chance of scoring on that play anyways, and Burns' 4 came up.
Yeah,
it would have been a touchdown. It was up 5 or 6.
We were talking earlier when Dennis was looking at the game stats. You went 5 for 5 on 4th down, Zeb. And personally, my observation is you're not a guy that really goes for 4th a ton in your own territory. You went for it early and converted it, then made another 4th down conversion, I believe, on the long touchdown to Guyton, right?
Yes, that was a looking past 2-minute in zone, but it hit the receiver reading on a 9. Yes, talk to us about your aggressiveness on 4th down.
Was that a thought you had coming into the game that you might, do a couple of more 4th and 1 or 2s, or just something that came up during the game?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think me and Dennis talked about this, and maybe after our S28 game, on 3rd and short or 4th and short, I actually like Dalton better than Patrick Mahomes because of the flat pass completions. And like Nathan says, it's just sort of matchup dependent whether or not I feel like it's a good play to go for it. And also obviously score and time remaining. But in a game that was as close as this one was, and I figured this was going to be a close game. We had played in the regular season, and it wasn't close, but that was only because of a couple of fluke turnovers. I think J.K. Dobbins lost a fumble, like a split reading of 5 or something. And then I got a 4th and 1 pick 6. So if it wasn't for a couple of fluke breaks, I figured it was going to be close, like it was. And I did not have confidence in my defense to stop Nathan.
Yeah, that's another thing, because you talked after that S28 game. In that game, you had a better team on paper, so you were less aggressive. Did that factor into it, where you thought maybe Nathan's team was a little bit better or had some tough matchups?
Yes.
So that you want to go for it more.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think anytime you have the worst team, you want to introduce more, like you want to mix it up more. You don't want it to go according to paper. Where if you have the better team, you really don't want to introduce more variation into the outcome.
Yeah, Dennis actually made that point during the game that if he feels like he's got a stronger team, he's less likely to go for a 4th and 1 his own 25. Just like you're talking about, you want the standard deviation to be real tight. I just want to play by the books and let my 7-point advantage come into play over 60 minutes.
Well, I think my big mistake was that I chickened out and going for on 4th and 1 from my own 25 with like 50 seconds left in the first half.
I was wishing you would on that one.
We saw you trying to draw him off sides.
I don't know why. But I was like, what the hell?
Well,
I wonder. I mean, it could have turned out completely differently.
Yeah. You just never know.
Either way, it could have gone bad as well.
Yeah, because even if you don't make it, you can hold them to a field goal and you still within striking distance. So.
Yeah, and Nathan had not taken a timeout there and let it run down to like 37. I'm sure he was thinking, I don't know how many. If he gets a first down, I don't know if I want to give Henry 3 additional in-run wrongs here.
I took a timeout on the third down. I didn't take it on the second down.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's talk about what I thought was the play of the game. 62-yard bomb. Marcus Johnson gets free in the secondary. Me and Michael were talking before that, like, oh, maybe I think he's going to run a linebacker here. He's going to go.
I thought about an end run, and then I thought I might get that matchup, 0 men against the 4, and I wanted to take a shot. So,
well, you were definitely going to get 0 men in that play. I wasn't sure who I was going to double.
Yeah. Well, you did
that
a
wasn't
really good job. You were all over me. I just, on that particular play, felt really comfortable that was probably going to be open, that player would be.
I think you did a good job,
That
Nathan,
was-
of sliding. Is it Tremaine Edwards, your 6 versus the run, over to the left, or actually right linebacker zone to help cover for A.J. Klein on 3rd and long a couple times?
Yeah, although, I mean, Zeb knows his card, but I think Henry's got like 12 runs where he just falls down on the end run, which totally sucks. So I'm not always so sure that that's where he's going to run anyway. But I guess with that 6 in the middle, if you're assuming he stays put, you're definitely not going to want to run there. So.
Yeah, I thought the crazy like a fox call of the game was on like 4th and 10. Zeb runs a line buck and gets the double box.
That was awesome. I won't lie. That impressed me there.
Yeah, we looked at it 6, 7, 8 off the defensive card. It's just,
I didn't feel too bad though, because I would have. I mean, that's the crazy thing is even if I left my linebacker who's a 6 there, you would have still got that, right?
Yep.
Double box, and I'm sitting there in a nickel. It's one of those things where it's like I keep looking at all these 0 minute zone when I play people, and I'm like, yeah, the guy's a 0 anyway. Like it doesn't even matter on a lot of these plays. Like every 7 rolls already a short gain. Might as well blitz him.
Yeah, absolutely. But on the creativity skills, Zeb, that kudos for that one. That was a great call.
I felt like your team. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Obviously that was just lucky. Go ahead, Tim.
I just say I thought Nathan's team performed better when Singletary was in. He seemed to really be a spark to your offense.
I was feeling like that too, but I think it's the guest right factor where maybe I'm just feeling more confident that I can run without fear of. I don't know. I just feel like I'm going to get more plays where I'm still get 2 or 3 yards, and I've got him in like a ton of leagues. It feels like I actually really like that card. People tried trading for it. SOMIFA Dennis did. Ed did, a couple people did, and I was like, I'm gonna keep that one. That was in this league, yeah.
I think I tried to trade for Fort myself.
What's that?
I think I tried to acquire Fort from you real cheaply myself in case you were.
Oh yeah, LJ Fort, yeah.
You probably should have upped your offer. If you included Patrick Mahomes, he might have considered it.
Yeah,
that would have been all right. I'd have done that. I'd have thrown in Minshew.
Just kind of
2 good quarterbacks still.
Yeah, just
that's kind of. We were talking about a possible Minshew trade at the beginning of the season.
I almost traded Minshew and LJ Fort.
If we had done a deal for Minshew, what were you going to do?
Just retool, not rebuild, not like a big rebuild, but play with a crummy quarterback. I wouldn't have drafted Dobbins in the 2nd round, so there would have been a lot of different things.
Yeah,
I would have just been trying to acquire guys for next year, and I get Nick Bosa back, so that'll be a nice boost too. It would have been like a couple picks.
Just kind of a weird point I was noticing during the game. I think both of you guys are guys that love to line buck. You like to draw a lot. It's a lot harder to run draws when the opponent is going to call run on 2nd 10 a lot more than the normal coach would, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I mean, and if they're calling run, you're not running draws. I mean,
yeah.
Unless you're really confident. If you're really confident that they're going to call pass, then sure. But
I don't know if I don't think I ran a single draw against Nathan in this game.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I didn't notice. Yeah, I wasn't noticing many. And like I say, I think both of you guys have shown tendencies, like I've kind of learned to run more draws from watching other guys. That had a lot to do with like Tevin Coleman's year of last year. The threat of the pass and just running those draws behind Ronnie Stanley he didn't have a great card, but he's 6.8 or something. But a lot of it had to do with just trusting in the draw and trusting the fact that people are afraid to pass a whole lot against Mahomes.
Well, I would think that Zeb would probably expect to call those when he thinks I'm bringing the house, and because I think he might short pass, and that's not going to happen a lot with Dalton. I mean, he ran draws with Derrick Henry in S28, but he had Patrick Mahomes. I mean, it made a lot more sense to do that.
Yep.
So.
And I saw you early in the game, Nathan, show blitz and call run. And I mentioned, if you're going to show blitz a lot, you've got to be able to call run. You can't just be, well, if he shows blitz, he's calling past 90% of that. You can't fall into the trap of telegraphing your defensive calls. And you didn't, early in the game, free safety blitz, but you called run.
Well, it felt like you backed off of showing blitz some as the game went on.
Yeah, I felt like the cat was out of the bag after a little bit as far as my defense. And so, why pretend at that point, and why tempt myself to blitz everybody? Because when I'm showing blitz, then occasionally that's what I revert to.
Yeah, and obviously, Zeb, you drafted Brian Burns for his run defense. He had 2 great run stops and no sacks. So,
yeah, sacks weren't really a big part of this. Just to pivot a little bit to the SOMIFA Bowl, I looked at the regular season matchup, Atlanta against Chicago.
Yeah, he beat me in the fourth quarter games anyway.
20-10, and it was 13-10 until Keenan Cole returned a punt 84 yards for a touchdown to make it that 20-10 final score. And it looks like you kept Jonathan Taylor in check. His long was only 15 yards. But just to close,
that's tough to do.
Yeah,
he's got a chunky card type, though, doesn't he?
It's still you got to commit to the run. He hit some big runs against myself, and in the semifinal tonight he had a big run, I believe, 1 or 2.
His off tackle's actually pretty
well.
simple.
I mean, that's a really good combination too there with Matt Ryan.
Yeah, and he's got great run blocking as well.
And so like J.K. Dobbins obviously has a great card, but the thing with backs like Derrick Henry and Jonathan Taylor is, they can get you 30 carries a game. It's just
plus
you can't really wait them out.
That's right. I mean, you run them and they're still getting yards, and it's just constant.
Chicago has a good run blocking line.
Yeah, his players make plays for him. I mean, they if you look at your stats from that regular season game, you had only 198 yards of offense, and we're 1 of 9 on third downs. It's just, I don't think that he's doing anything spectacular on third downs, but his team is just so good at every spot that it makes it tough if you land in his cards.
Yeah, I don't think he did a whole lot, but he didn't need to.
Right.
So free safety, all 5s in the secondary, a 5 at outside backer. I'm pretty sure that when we did our season preview show, you go back and watch, I'm pretty sure I said that this was like the most talented or one of the most talented teams in the league. Why I didn't pick them to go all the way. I think I picked them for a pretty good record, though.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one. You're going to have to.
Has Brad ever made it to the SOMIFA Bowl?
First time.
And first time for Nathan, I think, too.
Yep.
Congratulations.
This game like
no, I'm sorry, Brad lost 1.
I feel like.
Yeah, this is Brad's second.
Brad's 0 so far.
Yeah, he's 0-1.
So he made it before.
Well, honestly, I'm happy for you, Nathan.
Thank you.
This might sound a little bit cheesy, but it is a little bittersweet sometimes to beat guys. Like I know it's because I know it's disappointing for the way that game Jay and I played, the way that ended. Jay had a great team, and anybody that I like when I've been against them, I always feel a little bit when I lose or when I win. I kind of feel some of the pain when they lose.
Yeah. I agree. I feel the same way, and especially having definitely been in that position many times.
But this was,
That's the sympathy.
This was a really fun season and a really exciting postseason for me. And I'm not, I'm a little disappointed, but not too much about the way this played out. I like having fun games, and this was a fun game.
There have been a lot of fun games in this playoffs. I think if you would start this over and run this tournament again, you probably get a different champion every time. But now we're in the timeline that Nathan and Brad each get to. One of them's going to bring home their first SOMIFA title, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's really cool. We've had a lot of first-time winners over like the last 10 years or so, starting with Buffalo. Once they kind of broke through, we've seen Dale, quite a few other guys get their first titles over the last 10 years.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's another thing. I'm glad to see new faces in the SOMIFA Bowl.
Yep,
absolutely. So, any final words, guys? I'm about ready to shut this down.
Well, thanks for doing the broadcast.
Yep, happy to jump in. Congratulations, Nathan. Great job, Zeb. And thanks everybody for joining me. Tim carried a large part of the play-by-play load as I was, doing stuff with my kids.
So it was Tom Cook not around tonight?
He's here. Tom, say hi.
Oh,
it was late for him when I don't know. Maybe you didn't see that other email I had replied all.
I was not going to be available to call either game. That's a lot of stuff to take care of, and I'm trying to go to bed early most of the time nowadays. But about the time I was ready to get ready to go to bed, I just couldn't really sleep. I was like, let me put the game on, and it was already, I think, early third quarter. So yeah, I was not going to be available to call the game though.
Okay.
But my voice appears probably twice late in the fourth quarter. Little 3 words of commentary. Tim was doing a great job with the play-by-play. I don't want to interrupt him anyway.
Yeah, I like Tom's, but I got great help from Dennis and Michael. So we did a long doubleheader, but we made it.
Yeah, really fun, really fun.
The three you called both games. I caught the end of I caught a little bit of the end of the early game. He missed a field goal, right? Oh, spoiler.
No, that's all right. I already said the game who won that other game. So
if there was any snoring in the broadcast, it's Tom.
That's
no,
right.
I don't think he's gonna have that. He's got that CPAP mask on. That's cured his snoring, so he's good.
Yes, well, that only works if you're wearing it.
Oh, that's
good. Are you cured?
If I'm wearing I couldn't be talking here with the CPAP mask on.
Well, the other thing I just want to mention too is that I think some people may have questioned Brad taking Jonathan Taylor number 3 overall in the draft. I've heard certain people say they would never take a running back that high, and I understand the reasoning behind that. But I don't think Brad is going to the SOMIFA Bowl if he didn't make that pick.
Absolutely.
But what's he got? Yeah, Zeb, what's he to do next year?
Michael made some great points during the broadcast about how you're less likely to see a team with really poor running in the last couple of rounds of SOMIFA than a team with really poor or average passing. It's hard to get there without a good running back, even if you've got an elite quarterback.
Running backs is where it's at. I mean,
yep. And both of you guys have invested heavily in the running back position. So.
Oh, yes, and I also want to express my disappointment. I was really hoping that Jim Harbaugh was going to take the job in Minnesota because I wanted to see what Dalvin Cook could do with Jim Harbaugh as his coach. And I guess that's not going to happen.
That must be news just tonight, I guess, right? What happened with the job?
Yeah, he announced they
Flores?
haven't given it to anybody. He just backed out. He said he's not going to take the position.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
There you go.
Somebody should hire. How do you hire Harbaugh? Somebody should hire Harbaugh. Like I was great with the Niners. Last year was 88. I know he's kind of a pain in the ass, but. You want to win football games? You want everybody to get along? I would give the guy a shot.
I had seen a show where they were speculating that he's just trying to make some of the boosters sweat because I think they made him take a pay cut or something. And he's just that something about his level of petty is like nuclear. It's just it's true. If you watch the old stuff with Pete Carroll at USC when he's going for 2 up 40 or whatever, he's just a nut.
I used to drive me crazy. I used to drive me crazy with the Seahawks back when they were good. Pete Carroll was always, he was doing fake punts like against like a 3-10 team. He like late third quarter, he's up like 17 points doing fake punts. Oh, we like the look we got there. I'm like, they got like a backup quarterback in there, and like they got like no chance, and like doing fake punts. So, okay, Pete.
I think he was talking about Jim Harbaugh's level of pettiness.
He was, but no.
Well, maybe he did that once to Harbaugh.
And he started reminding him of Harbaugh USC. Is that what you said, Nathan?
Yeah. Harbaugh. Where was Harbaugh coaching in college? Stanford. Yeah.
So Stanford against Pete Carroll's USC.
They had issues in college and in the NFC West. Those two are, but Harbaugh is an insane person. So, when they said that, it kind of made me think, yeah, that makes sense. And then, he could have had a job probably in the NFL. So, makes me think maybe there's some truth to it.
I would hire him anyway. I want to win football games.
Good coach.
I want to win football games. You got to put up. You got to put up with the rest of it.
Wasn't it Balky that ran him off anyway?
I guess so. Yeah, I guess so. His first time.
And look at all the. I have not heard good things about him either. So
that may be why he backed out of the job, Tom. He might be waiting for the Jets to come available.
Oh, there you go.
I like Robert Saleh, but what's tough about the Jets job is that we never have a good team. It makes it very difficult to succeed.
Is the Jets job kind of like the movie The Green Mile, where it's just dead men walking all the time? It's got the green in it and everything.
I
thought you were saying it was a pain in the groin that finally got relieved at the end.
What's that?
Come on, The Green Mile. Isn't that the one where he the guy killed people?
Yeah, it's a death row. They call it The Green Mile, where
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Tom Hanks had that pain in the groin that he finally was able to miraculously.
Oh yeah, they cured him.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. Are we supposed to say that?
Well, one thing about Harbaugh is he wears out his welcome. If you look at his time as a coach, every 3-4 years he would change teams. And I think his brother, but not yet.
Not quite as bad as Billy Martin. I was reading my brother. Yeah, every now and then you'll Google something, you'll think of a guy. My brother and I were Googling Billy Martin last year, and apparently he'd been a scout or something in the Twins organization before he became a big league manager. The Twins hired him to be their manager in, I think, 1969. He wins the division. Okay, they lose the playoffs to Baltimore. He wins the division, and he's fired in November. His first year with the team, he wins the division, and he gets fired 6 weeks later. I was like, that is so classic Billy Martin. It's how does that happen?
Go ahead.
I'd like to point out that John Harbaugh, is it Jim Harbaugh? Yeah, John Harbaugh might be a psycho too. Have you seen some of the drama that takes place with that dude?
I heard some things, but just recently, which I would assume that he was solid and quiet and normal. But
I thought so too. But then I see they played Denver. I think it was this year, and they called a timeout. Instead of kneeling, or they were kneeling, call timeout or something. And then they tried to run another play to get. They had some 100-yard rushing streak going for their team.
Yeah.
And what's his name? The coach of Denver.
Oh yeah, Fangio.
Yeah, Fangio was all pissed about it.
Mm-hmm.
And he came from Baltimore, and Harbaugh was giving him crap about it. They were going back and forth, and Fangio was just like, look, it totally doesn't surprise me given who's over there, et cetera, et cetera. And then Joe Mixon catches that pass from Joe Burrow, where the Burrow set or some kind of a passing record, right? Maybe it was a rookie one or what. But then he's out there after the game asking him, if you recall, this was just one of the last couple of weeks. Why'd you throw that play? What's the deal? He was all mad. And he's like, oh, yeah, you just was a couple of yards away from the record.
That happened with Jamar Chase this year, too. They were going to sit him at a certain point, and they wanted to make sure he got a certain level. I forget what his rookie yards or something like that he was going to set a team record for.
Well, hey, if a team's calling timeouts and it becomes a big public thing and they said, oh, we had this streak we were after, you're fair game if some guy wants to go set a record on you.
Yeah.
No one cares that you lost 6 corners or whatever. You invited that on yourself.
Yeah, back just to something I was going to mention a moment ago when Billy Martin was here coaching the Texas Rangers. he was known to spend the afternoon before the games in the like topless lounges and like regularly, not just once a month or something. Constantly, somebody's getting in a fight or something. But everybody knows he's there, so the sports writers go there because they know they're going to hear some weird stuff, and watch some weird stuff. But he could build the top of a lineup. Billy Martin got a lot of jobs out of that.
Yeah, it's funny. Baseball managing, I feel like, manager can only do so much. You know what I'm saying? But he was a guy who, no matter where he went, no matter what the roster looked like, that team suddenly was going to win like at least 10 more games than they would have otherwise.
He figured out a way. Yeah, they mentioned a lot in some of the write-ups that he really knew how to like get the first 5 hitters to where we could score runs with these guys. Yeah, I know shortstop and catchers and such at the end of the lineup aren't going to do much, but we really going to like supercharge the first 4 or 5 guys. And he got a lot out of a couple guys that really didn't get on base that much. The Mickey Rivers type.
He's the one that gave Ricky Henderson the total green light when he first came into the league. He saw 130 bases and got caught 42 times. So he said, just go ahead. Just whatever you want, just go.
Well, let's wrap this up. Because Zeb, how did you feel like your strategy of hit and running with Derrick Henry worked out? Or were you looking for a little double play hardball talk here? What's going on, guys? We're on baseball. This is the SOMIFA semifinals.
Oh,
well,
but
you were wrapping up the show and we're switching topics. And Nathan was talking about hard-ass coaches and stuff like that. So, and they had a Billy Martin start.
I mean, you do have
I see you yawning when baseball comes up, Dennis.
I had a Billy Martin
you have a picture of Jim Harbaugh up on the screen with his bio. So
yeah, well, I wanted to make sure I was right about the Stanford coaching career. But anyway, the point is I got to go. So I'm going to shut this down.
Okay, hey, thanks for calling the game, Dennis. Thanks, Tim, Tom, Nathan, Michael, all of you for being part of the league, and especially big shout out to Ed for running it. It was a fun year.
Yes. Yeah, it was really good. And just like who was the old Cubs shortstop? It was so nice. Ernie Banks. It was so nice tonight. We played 2. We played 2 semifinals in one night. So way to go, guys. Congratulations to the victors, and please keep us in the loop for calling the Super Bowl. Tom is the number 1 option, but us backups are willing to step in if we need to.
Yeah, I hope you're still in the league, Dennis, after kicking Ed off the broadcast, buddy.
Well, luckily I was able to add him or leave him in the room so he can still listen because I don't think he was participating anyway. So, all right, guys.
Dennis with the announcing flex, throwing the commission out of the room.
Well, I looked at the other options. I'm like, everybody else here has been saying stuff, and Ed's probably just listening. So, yeah, risky decision, but hopefully I'm still in the league next year. So,
no risk, no biscuit.
There you go.
Good night, guys. Good night.
Take care.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
See you guys soon.